The teacher I used to go to, as you may know, was really big on definitions. I mean, he was had an incredible mind and had been a language teacher and stuff. And it's helpful for some people at a stage because, like I said, they get confused. They hear the same word meaning almost opposite things from different teachers.
Yeah, see, but we're shooting for that confusion, actually.
Some kind of confusion.
We're shooting for that confusion. Whatever triggers it, I'm happy about the confusion because then instead of going along with the workings of the head, you're confused by the workings of the head. That's better, I feel. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I would say I have a little different view of that. I think the clarity helps at a certain stage, and the kind of confusion you're talking about is more general. Like you hit a wall because the words just aren't helping you, even though they're clear what they said.
No, you hit a wall because there's the hearer of the words. Yeah.
Right.
So the hearer of the words become like a wall because the hearer wants to get somewhere. This is what's valuable. You see, when you see that, like we did the little crane with the fluffy toy things at the amusement park. Yes. So
Uh-huh.
pay the money, you see a rabbit you want to get, you got this giant uh, crane that drops in with a huge metal hand. You think you can easily get the rabbit. You try to grab it. As you bring it back up, it usually falls off. But what do? You keep trying to use it.
Um,
This is valuable. The failing,
yeah.
the
Yeah.
crane getting the rabbit is valuable.
You know what
Yeah.
that reminds me of? It's like I would see these students who really think they got it. They have a beautifully well defined, like, the teacher has a system, but they they aren't, the meat of it isn't there. It's just words.
Yes. So that's valuable to notice. Yeah.
And if it's too precise and well machined, they get attached to that machine almost like a
Well,
and
they're
can
relying on it. So they're relying on knowledge. They
yeah.
not. There's a reliance on it, and that reliance on the knowledge is an impediment in a way. But
Free
see, this is
deciding, I know the outcome based on my own limited knowing or knowledge, based on my binary understandings of what I think is coming at me.
yes, and so the teaching is about teaching. It's about the failure of teaching and being taught. That's part of the teaching, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not about getting a new crane or making, putting attachments onto the bunny so that you can easily grab them. It's to recognize the failure of it. And there's failure in both ways. Who has been satiated, except for maybe a kid for a little while, who has been satiated by the rabbit that's pulled up by the crane? Usually it creates, I got to get a bigger rabbit or a better crane. Yeah. So you just see the failure. Failure is the greatest success, I feel, humbly. Yeah. Failure in your pursuing, not because you don't have the correct way of pursuing, you're pursuing something that's already so. That's what fails. Yeah. It doesn't, you can switch the way of pursuit, but the pursuit itself is failed because it implies a misunderstanding that you're somewhere else. And so you're pursuing something to get somewhere. Yeah. Now that can be fantastic as an action figure. If you're looking for like you've heard about a mango that grows on a tree about 8 neighborhoods away, and you've actually driven by and you've seen a mango, and they say free mangoes, I will pursue that, yes? And I will drive over there, get a ladder, get that fucking mango and eat it. And I have now been successful. But we're talking about all of those seeking and searches reinforce a premise is that is the thing we're looking at, the premise that you are not what you're looking for. So we use terminologies from, let's say, St. Francis, which says you are what you're looking for. Yeah. And if you are what you're looking for, why are you looking for something? If what you're looking for is what's looking, it should produce a huge effect on the looking for. If it lands. Yes, yeah. If what's looking right now, not looking as like directed, laser like, just looking, what's looking is what you are looking for. If that lands, there's not going to be a huge amount of looking for, because you are that which what you're looking for is what's looking right now. Yes, do you see it? No. Yeah. So what comes under question, we're not questioning our nature. You'll find it out. Yeah. We're questioning all the other stuff, because a lot of the other stuff is attributed or assumed to be our nature, and it isn't our nature. Yeah. So what's looking is what you are looking for. What's looking, stop. There's no interest in that from that second on. It's the you that's looking for it is what's interesting. Yeah, because you go, wait a minute. If I'm what's looking, why the hell would I be looking for it? Yes? Answer. What if you are what's looking, what the hell, why would you be looking for it? Yeah. Now, what people try to do is stop looking for it. But the way what we say is, see, you're not that which is using it to look for it. Yeah, that's all. You don't have to stop it. You just see it as a mechanical reaction. It's not you, and it's not you that's going to stop doing it. Yeah, you're just going to see it. Seeing it doesn't mean it stops. Seeing it in this understanding is you lose interest in it. Yeah, so you lose interest in that which is interested in finding what it already is. Yeah. So you lose interest in that. You're not that which is trying to find what it already is. That's not you. That is a mental process. That's a movement in this activity. Yeah. That is what's misunderstanding a whole lot. And that it brings it to a point where it's using what it's looking for to look for it. You see, fundamental statement there. The statement of non-duality as an invitation is you knowing it or not knowing it, and you're not that you. There's a you that's using what you are to look for what you are. So instead of recognizing its own nature, it looks at it as an acquired supernature, or I'm going to be a better me when I get there. Yeah, this isn't about that. This isn't about the betterment of the self. That may occur. It's not about that. It's about seeing you're not that. That's all. What do you mean by seeing with your eyes? No, awareness, obviously. Your awareness, which has sort of been by being directed, you miss the wholeness of awareness. Awareness isn't missing fucking anything, but the head has it looking into tunnels, and that by looking into the tunnel, it's at the expense of seeing the space around it. Yeah, so we're just like this, and we're missing everything. Yeah, so where's the effect going to be? What's looking? No, there's not going to be any effect there. What's looking? Not effect at all. You, the one that is looking for it, that's going to be affected hugely. What's looking is the you. That is what the you is looking for. What's looking is what you are looking for. Yeah. So what's looking? The you. Yeah. The looking for. The looking for is going to diminish, and you're going to see the you, sort of like an emperor with no clothes. The clothes of the emperor would be all the seeking, all the trying to get the rabbit, all the cranes, yes, all the understandings. Those are the clothing of the emperor. When you see those things are failed in this topic, you see the emperor with no clothes. Yeah. So the effect of what's looking is what you're looking for is not on what's looking. You can't affect that. That's completely the way it's always going to be, always is, never been interrupted or marred or scarred by anything that's ever happened. Just to use, you do not see every fireworks on July 4th, you do not see abrasions and cuts and scars on the sky on July 5th, do you? All those huge explosions in the sky, they're not in your house, they're not on your body, they're in the sky. The sky does not show any effects of any of that activity. That's what we are. We are like the sky compared to the clouds, yes? Clouds come and go, but they happen and appear and disappear in the sky. Yet they do not affect the sky whatsoever. Yeah, you can have thousands of clouds, the sky doesn't get heavy. You can have 4 clouds and the sky doesn't feel lighter. Yes? It's not weighed down by clouds. It's not lifted up by clouds. They are appearances in a space called the sky. Yeah. So what's looking is what you are looking for. Wow. What's looking is what you are looking for. Then why the hell am I looking for it? Yeah. So most people then try to stop looking for it. That doesn't work. It doesn't. Because they're not doing the looking for it. It's the you, the idea of you, which is the mental activity, is what's looking for it. The you is looking for what's looking at, and all the while being what's looking. That is non-duality. That is it. That's what it's saying. Yes. Being ourselves reality, the greatest mystery is reality. Hey, bro, is wanting to attain reality. Yeah. And the reality in this house is the dog is the greeter. And protect your gonads, and then it will dissipate and be chilled out in a couple of minutes. But that's its nature. It can't do anything else. You can try to train it, it's gonna do it. It's just a fucking retriever and knucklehead. That's what they do. All right. So instead of doing that, recognizing it. Yeah. So what's looking is what you're looking for. Yeah. The word seeing, we use everything is verbing here. Let's just put it that way. And the mental state is verbing. And we capture a mental part of the state, which is called selfing. So the mental state has an agenda and a purpose, and that is to reinforce the idea of being a long-lasting, independent, separate entity. Yes? A thing, a subject, a doer. And as the Course in Miracles says so beautifully, the brain, which is collating all this information, yes, interprets all the information to the body of which it is a part. Yeah. You want to argue with it, it doesn't matter because it's not you doing it. That's just how it goes. Yeah. So someone was talking about everything yesterday, but in science, I think all that's being seen is light, and then it comes in and it gets collated into a imagery. Yes. What the system is bringing in is light, and then it formulates this. Yeah. So the brain formulates the light that it notices and formulates this, and the system is called self-centeredness. Yeah. Therefore, everything about the system is centered on the idea of self. Yeah. Now, I don't believe there's a self, but I do believe there's selfing that implies there's a self. Yeah. So if you're an ardent listener to selfing, you'll probably have a feeling of being an individual and a self. Yeah. Because the selfing's job is to imply that. It on and on and on. See, it has to imply it because there isn't a self. There isn't a long-lasting, independent, separate entity. Yeah. It just isn't. So for it to seem like it, yeah, because it can't make it, but it can seem like it's already so, is the selfing is an activity that implies you already are a self, that you're a historical fact, and it's just riffing on that fact. Yeah. Looking at everything else from that fact, bringing everything that's reported back to that fact, and that is not a fact. So selfing that's the highest it can do. It can't make a self, but it can keep saying there already is one. And that's what it does. If you look at your head. Yeah. Do you believe you're becoming a self right now? Do you believe you're less of a self than you're going to be in 3 hours? That you grow into being a self? No, your head starts at the point you already are a self. That's where it starts. That's the assumed fact. And let's get to business, and we'll question a lot of other shit, but that doesn't go question much. Yeah. You are a self. And obviously, most of us being in that situation found it very uncomfortable, irritable, and restless. And in some way or form, we try to get out of it, really. Yeah. So we never questioned the fact of the in, but we were looking for a way to get out. And some of us found ways to get out, drugs and alcohol and other things, distracting, reading, going to movies, whatever. But basically trying to get at least a temporary reprieve of this me. Yeah. Unfortunately, as the me. Yeah. So you go to the movie to forget me, and then the head tells you you went to the movie. So you're never seemingly forgettable because you always fucking remember. So selfing, I think, is the mental process. I do not think it's of mind. I think mind, the being of mind, is a different thing. But a mental process, coordinated, obviously, as this organ called the brain, is seeing everything as how it pertains to us, and the us is a me. And that is the idea of self that's implied and inferred, but never produced by selfing. It's the audience that takes it to be so. So doesn't it sound like your head's talking to you? Sure does. You're not in an open air auditorium. Your little thoughtscape isn't playing on your forehead to everyone else. Yeah. It seems to be pointed in one way, which I would say to the audience, which is what we are. We're not a thing, but we're an awareness. Yeah. And that thing is talking towards us to the point we forgot about us and took it's us to be us. So how it presents us, we're living as if that's so. And a lot of us have tried to live as if it isn't so. And it's maybe cost us almost our lives, because I would do anything not to feel this way that I feel under this idea of self. And I was willing to pay any consequence tomorrow not to feel uncomfortable right now. I would, and I did. I have a long history, medical, judicial, police history of doing just that, trying to get out of something at all costs. And no matter how short of the reprieve, it was worth it. Yeah. I knew as soon as I shot coke, usually the cops were going to show up sooner or later, at least in the next 24 hours. But usually it was like in the next half hour or an hour. God gave me maybe 24. I knew that when I was putting the shit in. It didn't matter. It did not matter. I wanted fucking relief, whoever that I was, and I'm not that I. And therefore, I was driven constantly to get out of self as the idea of self. And there's a well-earned recognition in recovery from addiction and stuff, from the bondage of self, which is self can't get out of self. Yeah, and this is the dilemma. Most of us are living as if we're a self. And a lot of times in that living, we try to get out of that self. Yet we have actually never been in it. Yeah. So the wanting to get out of it is a huge in. Yeah. The prison is really the escape, the constant attempts and thinking about escaping the prison is the prison. There is no prison. It's the escaping, wanting to get out of something that you're not in is the prison. Yes. And look at it. I mean, it's people here. Let's look at these squares. I mean, we have like 30 squares. We have alive people here. I mean, just looking at how much time and money has been put into trying to get out of this. Yeah. Maybe the story was I was trying to get into something else, but it was driven really by trying to get out of this, trying to get out of self, makes you want to get into the infinite or get into the merge with the one or whatever it is. It's really basically where you think you are makes where you want to go like enticing. Yeah. So really, what is the bigger in but the out? The drive to get out is like unbelievable. There's hundreds of years and money and time and earnestness and willingness and hopefulness that has been paid for this possibility, yet it was all predicated on a misunderstanding. We've been trying to get out of something we're not in. Yeah. Sometimes we believe someone got out and then we're totally disappointed. With further investigation, they seem to be a fucking asshole, or they're robbing people, or they're fornicating with whatever, and they're making a lot of hay out of the idea that they're out of something, and then it collapses, and then you've got to find a new savior, but they run out, yeah, because you don't need to be saved. You don't. You don't need to be saved. You're not that valuable. They built you, you were built for maybe 80 years. This is not an heirloom. This is not vintage. This is not a collectible. Really. It's a vehicle. Yeah. Existence comes in and existence seems to go out, and then the non-existent thing that was assumed to be an existent thing is obviously have always been a non-existent thing. The body without the light in it is a non-existent thing. And you'll see a body after the light leaves, but you won't feel or sense the light. The body will still be there, but something seems to have moved on. And I have that, I've had that recognition a few times where I saw someone who I'd seen quite a lot as a live body, dead in a casket, and it was obvious that was a mistake. Uncle Fred wasn't the body that I was looking at, because the body was there and it wasn't Uncle Fred. So yeah, that's I'm going to try to get those questions. So selfing is a mental activity. It's super fast. And anything in time that you try to do to undo it is being used by it. The selfing is very fast. And therefore, if you feel like it's not working or it's less, or you have a better calling, hearing that calling is going to be heard as a self. So the infection of this process of claiming is going to infect the process that you use to try to get out of it. So it's going to be, you're going to try to get out of self as self. That's what happens. Yeah, and I don't believe there's a process that I can get before this process. So when you're sitting here and I do this, the head has already claimed it and referring back to the body that did it. Yeah. Yeah. The idea of being mindful, you cannot be mindful of this. You have to be mindless to see this. Mindfulness isn't going to work because it's going to stop at this certain point. You want to see that point before it, which is our nature. So when there's a loss of interest in this idea of self, obviously there's a loss of interest in listening to the selfing. And then suddenly, instead of starting from this manufactured point of the non-existent thing is the existent thing, you start from where there was never a start. You see from before. And then you see what you used to look from. You see the building and the implying and the inferring of this idea of self as a verb called selfing. You see it. And when you look before the selfing, there's no self doing it. There's no self doing it. And when you look after the selfing, no self was made. It's just selfing. Yeah. How you listen to it is the key. If you listen to it and it refers back to you, and it becomes this loop of constantly hearing about you and thinking you're the you that's hearing about it. Yeah. But if you can hear a message such as this, you will get whacked, and that whack will reverberate before time. Like you'll know something before you knew a lot of shit. Yeah. Yeah. It will land and trigger something that isn't triggered. Like it's not a timing explosion produced by a time bomb. It's seeing something from awareness and seeing, and from seeing it from there, you see, well, you see a lot actually. And finally, you are moved in a way, or you just move away from an imaginary starting point and you land at the real point. And when you land there, you've never not been there. This was just imagined, yes? And then here you are, and now you see what you used to look from, which is the capture. That's the imaginary effect of selfing. Being a devotee and adhering to selfing, you're probably feeling like you're an individual and a self. Come along with the idea of being the doer of whatever happens, the thinker, the feeler, the taster, the toucher. So you'll be a noun in the midst of a huge verb. You'll be a noun, and then that noun will seem to have a lot of other nouns, but then there'll be a coronation of that one noun. That's called a you to a me, where you're really up the ass of self. Because now you can't learn from you or you because it's me. There's no rule. You don't understand. Yes, I do. This is what happened with me when living life from the propulsion of me, I landed in a familiar place, a rehab on Delancey Street at 8th and Fulton in 1985. Walked in there as me, inhabited there 2 years as me, and thank God they never saw me as me. The people who ran Delancey Street, they saw me as a you, and my category was addict. So as I was bitching about they would just see me they're seeing me as an addict, never got interrupted. and I thrived for 2 years in that setting. I didn't agree with them. I didn't like them. But after 2 years, I had to admit, my life looked better with them running it than me running it. Yeah. Because they didn't see me. They saw a fucking washed up addict. That's what they saw. And basically, that's what it was. And they treated me exactly the way that was, and it worked. While I was taking offense of how I was being treated, because I thought I should be treated as me. So here you are. This is called non-duality here. You may hear it in another way, but non-duality has a very simple meaning in English, which is non means not, and duality means two. Now, there isn't duality. It's a way of seeing things. We see things dualistically because our little cocktail has been mixed dualistically. Sometimes we're thought about it as an object. Sometimes we're the thinker, which would make us the subject. Yeah. So this is the essence of duality, is subject object, and it's mixed up. We think the object is the subject. Yeah. And that isn't true. It's that simple. Then his old masters, Huang Po, would look at that and go, hey, listen, whatever can be perceived, look around. Whatever can be perceived cannot be perceiving. Isn't that beautiful? So I'm perceiving you, you're not what's perceiving. You're perceiving me, I'm not what's perceiving. Yeah. So everybody is going to be knocked off that game board. Whatever can be perceived, yeah, cannot be that which is perceiving. End of story. It doesn't go off on 800 different pages. Simple statement. You're supposed to wear it like a pair of shoes and see if it works. Yeah. This is the message. Why? Because if you start from where the head starts, you've lost the race already. The race is part of the bondage. The race will never end. You'll just change outfits. You'll change a vehicle you use for the race, but the race will continue on and on and on. That's the bondage, is trying to get out of what you're not in. Yeah. And living a life that you're trying to get into what you're not out of, and you're trying to get out of what you're not in. It's fundamentally off. And it doesn't matter how much correction you do after that fact, the fundamental offness is going to override all of your corrections. They're not going to last. Yeah, people do great in a controlled environment, a retreat, but then they leave and they're fucked up the next day. I blew my mind. One of the last ones I went to, there's a place in Marin. I don't want to name it, but we used to call it the Upper Middle Way. You know, very nice place. And I went there to a retreat, and it was different people. It wasn't like some people were already there, and some people were going to come after me. Yeah, so you could go in there and just jump in, and you'd speak to someone in the morning, and then you'd basically have to do 13 hours, like 7 hours. You could break it down: 7 hours walking, 6 hours sitting. Yeah, 3 meals a day, eagle cloth, bathtubs, pretty good, nice beds. There you are. So here you are doing it. And then after 2 weeks, I decided to leave. So spent 14 days there. And when they wanted to talk to everyone when you were ready to leave. I said, yeah, I'm ready to leave. Next day, they say, listen, are you getting picked up? I said, no, I have a car in the lot. They said, do you need to go on the highway, the freeway to get home? Yeah, don't take the freeway. What kind of music you like? Thrasher. Don't listen to any Thrasher music. Don't eat anything hot. No chilies, fucking nothing. And it was sort of like, what the fuck? What have I been in a glass blowing retreat? And I just have this thing that was blown up by 2 weeks of sitting, and I gotta walk through and anything could fucking crack it. I'm not looking for that. The only way I can have it and sustain it is stay in this controlled environment. That to me is in peace in a way. Now I'm anxious about the peace I have, because if I bump into something, it'll crack. Yeah, it was like another insane. I was bonded to the problem. Now I'm bonded to the relief from the problem, because there's a bigger problem. I've got to meditate every day to try to keep it going. It's insane. I mean, when does it stop? You have to look at where it starts. It's not, because they'll say, oh, this is what happens. Things fail, and then they just change the name of it. You ever see Budweiser, terrible beer? They would change the can, or they made 3 things you could open at once. But they never changed the fucking beer. It sucks completely, but they're constantly changing what carries the beer. This is what happens. Yeah. You're not going to become what you already are. You can become a fucking karate master because you're not already a karate. You may be, but I hope you're not. You're a karate master. You can become that. Yeah. You can become a better bubble performer. Yes. Because inherently you're not. Yeah. So, but here you can't become what you already are. This is the invitation of non-duality. It's in a lot of other movements, Buddhism and everything, but humbly, my interpretation of the invitation is you are what you're looking for right now. No requirements necessary to become that which you're looking for, because you are what you're looking for right now. They're not saying it's a future event, and they're not saying it was a past event and you have to make it happen again through a lot of effort and thought in the future. No, they're saying you are what you're looking for. Yep. The seeker, it's not a story of the seeker and all the sorts. It's the seeker is the sort. So the seeker itself that's being used to seek is what's sought. Yeah. Just compresses the whole story. The greatest mystery, and a lot of people, there's mysteries in a lot of topics, but in spirituality, there are lots of mysteries, let's say, and have been some giants in spirituality, and one of them is Ramana Maharshi. And you would assume that he had discovered a lot of mysteries because he was seemingly, yeah. I mean, he's lived his life in a diaper and got away with it. Great. I mean, fucking just moved once and stayed there, just like that. Yeah. All these dignitaries would come by, they'd take a picture, he'd be looking at an ant or something. Well, they're all like spiritual giants. He'd be like, what the fuck? You know, it's true. So he says the greatest mystery. Wow, I'm keen on listening to this. Yeah, because I assume this guy should know something. The greatest mystery? Yeah, the greatest mystery, Paul. What is it? He says, it's being ourselves reality, him and I included, everyone here, being ourselves reality, being ourselves reality is reality wanting to attain reality. Yeah. What does that say to you? That you are what you're looking for. Yeah. That the seeker is the sought. So it puts an end to all the shenanigans that get triggered and proliferate time and space of trying to arrive to where we're at, believing we've left. I had this was mind-boggling. I was in Australia, 2000. It's a longer story, but I ended up there's a town called Byron Bay on the East Coast. And Byron Bay had a large community of Rajneesh people, if you ever know of him, Osho, what other names did he have? But he was a famous teacher. And there was a large community that lived in Byron Bay, and so somehow they were having an event. It was sort of like an emotional retreat, not like sitting 13 hours, but getting through what they would call trauma now or whatever. And someone gave me a brochure. I didn't know anything about these people. I wasn't involved with their community, but they had a statement from St. Francis, what's looking is what you're looking for, on this little brochure. It was trippy. I was like, wow. Yeah. All right. And so I called them up and I went, and I was thinking of buying a round the world ticket because it was super cheap. The Australian dollar was bad against our money. It was great price. And I was seeing this as an either or. Either I do this retreat or go on the thing. And the travel agent that I was talking to had done this thing before and said, fucking do this thing and you'll go on the world trip. Yeah, which happened. It did. So I signed up, went there and they knew how to produce cathartic events. Yeah. They'd have meetings, they have 3 circles, and then they have all these strangers were sitting around the periphery of the room, never said a word, but just held this sort of space. And you'd have like a therapy thing in the morning. Then they'd clear it, you get some eat, you go back, and they'd have all these mattresses with a DJ, and they start playing music, and people would just go off, like, go crazy, tripping out, Kundalini, and they were working it. It was happening for a lot of people. So about the 6th day, it was an 8-day thing. About the 6th day, 7th day, we're in it, and I'm in that moment, and something hit me of the value of what I left and the fact that I could never get back. You know what I mean? Like I had given God the middle finger and split or whatever, and now I want to come home, but I'm no way. So I felt like this, and I was crying. I was feeling like, the sorrows of thousands of years of seeking, and I'm never going to get back, and and everyone, the head people, just saw this and were like, whoa, I was like the star of the show, never get back, and they took me out almost like a ceremony. I was the first one taken out, and I sat and watched everyone else get taken out the rest of the day. And then a couple of days later, I said, and I was crying. It was like really, it was very dramatic. I could never get back. I really fucked up, I'm saying, I did something, I can't really know what, but I did something that I can never get back to it. And then it just got flipped, and I said, no, I can never get back because I've never left. So beautiful. It just put an end to so much fucking shit. I was going down that road I could never get back. Story upon story were being printed. Yes, I could have made a whole blog post for the next few years. You know, I mean, really, Paul starring in the eternal saga of I can never get back. Every episode, Paul. Where do I want to get back to? I'm right where I want to be, wanting to get back. Paul. And then it shifted. I didn't shift it. That head was going that one way. I can never get back. Yeah. And then suddenly something stepped in, and I feel it was from this understanding, because I had just been introduced about 3 years before to non-duality. Something hit me. I can never get back because I never left. Hallelujah. And that's sort of what it's been like. Yeah. Now, I believe these little tricks can work in satsang. I think actually satsang is a great time and space for it to occur, where we're seeing things with a lot of shit emphasized that if it was really based on what you are, it wouldn't be emphasized. Yeah. And then someone here who's a seeker and who keeps seeking and comes to the thing that it's failing, he'd be super flipped out. I'm never gonna get it. Really fucking pissed about that. Another person saying the same thing, completely different. I'm never gonna get it because I am it. Yeah. Same statement, but the effects are completely different. Yeah. Something that keeps wanting it, even though it's been proven to it that it's never going to get it, it will just refuse to stop. It's not going to get it. Just like in our program, self does not get, it can't get out of self. It just keeps fucking trying. But when you see it from another view, not getting it is hallelujah. Yeah. That the message truly bypasses you is hallelujah. Because in a sense, as we are right now, we're the obstacle to hearing the message because we believe we're the hearer of the message. And the hearer of the message neuters the message in a way and emphasizes the hearer, yeah, at the expense of the hearing, where hearing the message emphasizes the hearing at the expense of the hearer. You lose interest in the hearer and you gain interest in what you're hearing. Yeah, it's unbelievable. And you get readjusted, I feel, something. It can't get completely. This cannot turn around and see itself. It can. This cannot see itself. Yeah, it's limited. This cannot find itself. This cannot be something else. It's here, yeah? And then you recognize you're not using it to look for what you are. You're basically seeing through it. Yeah. What you are is seeing through this. And the glasses may be limited, just sort of like when you get reading glasses at the dollar store, you know, 100, 200, 300. The reading glasses may be limited, but the awareness isn't. Yes. Yeah. So you may still see with a lot of directedness, and yet instead of emphasizing all the things, you'll sense a space finally. Yeah. And to me, the space is the presence. Yeah. Yeah. So it's the easiest message to deliver. Of course, you already got it. Yeah. Simplest thing. The message is really about what you're not, and you're not going to get it. And no matter how many times you try, you're not going to get it. Some people come here, they have disguises. They've been here for a few years, have come back like Zen Mark. Not going to get it. No matter what disguise you wear, you're not getting it. Yeah, that's the good news, man. Those spiritual shoulders can drop. Yes. The great wisdom of no escape. There's no escape. You're not in what you think you're in. And all this drive to get out is actually the bigger in. In this world, getting out of an imaginary thing is the bigger in. Yes? All the escaping, which we would say is intended to be out, is bigger than the in we think we're in and trying to escape. The in is imaginary. The out is the bigger in. Yeah. All right. We'll open up. Yes. That last one hit something as I sit here. Well, if you weighed the in of self, uh, it, it's almost nothing. And if you weighed the outing of trying to get out of self, it's just fucking unbelievable amount. Always destined to fail. I think actually that's the security of the head. The head would love to sign up for a lifetime, or maybe more than one lifetime, lifetimes of searching with the security that you're never going to find. then the recognition you are what you're looking for right now. I swear. Yeah. The recognition you are what you're looking for right now creates like a tremor in the mental system of time and space, and it just reverberates and some alarms go off. Yeah. Yeah. I want to become, but being isn't that interested. Yeah. It wants to become, definitely. But being, I don't know. All these reactions are very telling. These are really the missiles or the gospels of the message, is the reaction to the message. Because the reactions to the message, most of them are of not you. That's what's reacting. When you feel something and then there's a mental reaction, the feeling, that was the real communication. The mental reaction is the reveal, really. That's where you see what you're not. So you hear the message and then you see what you're not, trying to fucking make the message, neuter the message, understand the message. But you hear the message, the hearing of the message triggers something here, and then you see what you used to look from. You see it from another perch. And it's like something took you off the old perch because you thought that was the only perch there was, put you in another perch, and then you see the old perch. You see it, and you're like, what? And then blue is blue and red is red, and fucking things become clear. Yeah. Yeah. I am not clear about a lot of shit. My clarity about where my keys are varies every hour. You know, I may feel safe that I know where my keys to the car are now. Couple hours, all bets are off. I think I did it yesterday at Goodwill. I left the wallet on the on the counter in San Francisco in Salvation Army. And if you've seen the Salvation Army at Geary and Fourth, you don't think it's going to be an unclaimed wallet for long. I couldn't, and it was late, and I had to turn around in the hate and didn't look like I could make it till 6, at 6. But I got there at 5:59, and the lady, this lady that had served me was coming out, and I said, "Did you find a wallet?" And she said, "Yeah," and they had it. It was incredible. And from my head's forecast, bye-bye, and I had stuffed it with money. Just in case like a free boat was there for $12 or something. Hey, I got the cash, I'm buying it. Can you tow it? I'll take care of that later. Fucking, can I keep it? So I was like, wow, I just lost about $300. First I looked in the parking lot, no, and then, but they were just gonna close the door, and I said, And the guy had it. Fantastic. Incredible. Eh? My head would have not forecast that as the prologue of the event. No way. And I was so fucking surprised. I was so happy, and I said, "Whoa, that's cool," because it looked like a very bad bet that it was going to be there. So yeah, the shit in the head doesn't know what's going on. Literally, has it been that very? Has your GPS? When you started the trip, did you end up where you wanted to end up at the end of the trip? Not often. Not often. And after years of being misdirected, a pattern showed up. Institution, jails, and death. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. All right, thank you. It's on mute. They were on mute the whole time. Oh, too bad. I gave the handshake and everything. No, they weren't. It's on. They're on. Hello, everyone. Who's running the show here? Kathleen?
Me, Paul. So far, no questions, buddy. Good talk, though.
Oh, good. Well, we have a very thirsty audience at the cafe. So let me show you here. All right. Yeah, Chris just got out of jail. Very happy. People over there, old friends. Yeah, everyone, nice to see you. Yeah. I should have asked. This will be probably on a very small population of Zoom. YouTube. Only have to worry. Yeah. All right. Well, if there's no any questions here.
Hang on, Paul. There's a question from the chat.
All right.
Let's see. Let me see if I can see it. Says he has a question. This is from Not Really. I have a question about a higher power. Is there one? I know in the 12 steps there is one. So that's the question, Paul.
The question is more, is there one for you? Yeah. If there is one, it doesn't matter unless there is one for you. Yeah. Because if not, the head is probably playing the role of the higher power. Yes, or as we capture it in recovery, playing God. So playing God, the head plays God. And it's sort of like a small dog masquerading as a big dog. That will be revealed if a big dog is introduced. The small dog will roll over. So that's the way. Yeah. Yeah.
Saraswati has a question, Paul. You want to take that?
I'd like to take it somewhere.
Come on, Saraswati.
No.
On in.
I know, I just spoke at the last meeting, so it's a quick follow-up.
It's okay. You're at your end of your quota, so make
All
it
right,
good.
this will be it for this year or this week. But you know, I've heard you ask this question so many times, why would I keep looking for what I am? Why would I keep looking if I am what I'm looking for?
Yes.
And what came up today, and this is very vulnerable, but what came up today is that I don't want to find me. And so I want to look for something else. Now I know me and self is not me, but that's a real place. Maybe, and I could ask who's asking that, but I thought there was
So
something.
I think that's great right there, honey. Yeah. So you're wanting to go somewhere is really based on trying to get out of somewhere. Yes. Yeah.
Being unsatisfied.
Well, you don't want to look at you, so you look for something greater than you. Yeah. And the way is you're going to find out you're greater than you by looking at the you.
That's not me.
Yes, that's not you. Exactly.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So if you push through that little resistance, if the resistance is coming from a system that wants to survive. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
But at the expense of how you live in a lot of ways. So yeah, I wouldn't fall for that trick and just look at what is it that wants to. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Times in life it's going to bring you there. You have to. So it's better, it's nice, easier if you comply, but basically if the head is in the tiger's mouth, yeah, you're gonna, yeah. Yes, you see?
Yeah, I see. I hear what you're saying. It's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Yeah, so I keep kind of, I don't know, could we say purifying, by way of the steps and this kind of process of, really understanding and releasing, you know, dysfunctional behaviors, disempowering thoughts, things that are ruining my life. That's the me I don't want to find. The self, I guess.
Well, then all that is keeping you busy from that fact. Yeah. But I don't see the dysfunction isn't your dysfunction. Yes. The system is not functional.
Mhm.
It's rooted in a failed system. We have it in recovery. See, people could learn a lot from, because recovery is an extreme version of self and all this stuff. Yes. So they're dealing with a much more amplified situation, which more people could probably hear if their ears are open. Yeah. So, it says, why are you in so much fear today? And then you could maybe, tons of people would give an answer, and a lot of people believe fear is the cause of everything else. But in recovery, we say no, it's self-reliance. Yeah.
Mhm.
So relying on that which we're not, relying on that which we're not, which is self-reliance, is what's promoting the anxiety and the fear. That's
Yeah.
the diagnosis of extreme patients called addicts and alcoholics. Yes? Because addicts and alcoholics are demonstrations of an extreme version of self-obsession. Yeah. So the addiction to self is so extreme, the desire to get relief shows up as addictions out here. Yes.
Yeah.
So they're very good to study because it's the same format, it's the same system, they're just a more amplified version. Yeah, which you can learn a whole lot from. So in this case, you're relying on self to try to avert the fear, but the fear is produced by the reliance on self.
Yeah.
You see?
See.
And it has you going here and doing that and believing its destructive qualities are destroying your life. That's not really the truth. Yeah. There's got to be a sense of my in there. Yeah. So this is what we call self in recovery is selfing. Yeah. So something that isn't so is imagined to be so. And then everything that we meet after that is met as that. Yes. So something that isn't so is imagined to be so, that you are the long-lasting, independent, separate thing, when actually the thing is a non-existent thing.
Mhm.
This is a non-existent thing. This is not you. Yeah.
Yep.
And so the head has this idea of itself as a self, a long-lasting, independent, separate entity, and it will look for tons of shit to avoid looking at that for sure. It stays busy. We have trouble. See, there are so many clues. People love to take inventory, right? So I'm sitting here where someone walks in, you do an inventory, the head does, you check the person, yeah, all day, we're really right there doing it. And then in recovery, they say you have to do an inventory. And that people drag their feet for like years. And you would think for someone who loves to take inventory, why they would love to take inventory about themselves, but no. Yes, because the system is afraid if you look into the system, you're going to see the system. When you're looking out from it, you just lazily take it to be you. And you're taking inventories on everyone else and politics and world and this and that. Yes, it's easy to take inventories on that. But to look and see your role in things, you're going to see something else's role in things. Yeah. And all the feeling and the guilt and the shame and the pride that you were the doer of a lot of stuff you had nothing to do with is going to be looked at in a different way. Because really, a lot of the bondage of self is rooted in being the doer of past events. Yes. I met a lot of people in recovery, have a lot of years, and they're still held like an umbilical cord to some of the shit they did while they were under the influence. They're still fucking having regret where it says, you will not regret the past. I see a lot of people regretting the past. Yeah. How do you not regret the past? You see that you weren't the doer of that shit that you were driven to do. Yes? The regret usually has, it could have been different and I should have done something different. You were taken over by fucking something that drove you. Yeah? The car had no say in where the driver wanted to go. The car had no say in it. The car was the vehicle for the driver to get somewhere, and you were the driven, and you are the driven. Yes? Yeah. Look at it. Look at the airport. Everyone's pretty cool. Then the flights start getting canceled. Then they get fucking flipped out. Then they're online and they're like getting, the cut and what, and Starbucks, what? Everyone, just a little shift in the controlled environment flips everyone out. Yeah. All right. I get flipped out. I just see it as not me. I have not tried to readjust most of my shit. I let the program of AA readjust it. And it brought it back to a working condition. And I do not believe this is the chariot of the gods. And therefore, I'm not going to be a Rolls Royce, but a fucking Toyota is pretty reliable. And it's fine with me. Seriously. And let the head spirit get unfettered by all of these preoccupations and enjoy peace of mind. Yeah, sense the presence of this loving power. Feel power flow in. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. All right. And you, Elisa from Pennsylvania.
Okay, now I'm frightened to ask my question. Only, but not enough to keep me from asking the question. So,
Yeah. Yes.
and maybe the theme of the last 3 days has been language and application, and then comparing how that between things, and like, oh, that's exactly kind of what you're talking about. At least that's how it clicked in my head. And so I lived like that for like 20 years of my sobriety. Then something happened, and then it didn't feel good. So I went back to, oh my God, I got to do it right, and inventory, look at all the stuff, and then touch it and miss it and do it. I learned a lot of things, and it was helpful, and I'm still sober, so yay. But it seems as though, I don't know if it's just the language is weird, or I'm not understanding it, or just too ineffable to explain it. That if I understand that I'm not the me that I'm looking for, then I don't need to hyper focus on any of those obsessions about the stuff that I do. I can just go, oh, I didn't act very nicely there, and apologize. I'm just saying I, because it's easy to say that. It's very confusing that as to why I need the rest of the stuff. And when I sort of am at peace and in that space, my sponsor, who is more Protestant religious, can't grasp that I'm free when I realize that my perspective is off. And so I don't even focus on that stuff. And thus they don't do those behaviors. But it kind of sounds like a cop out. And so she's, I don't know what that is. That's not AA. And then my brain starts trying to make it in.
Well, why don't you have someone else to talk about this with, and then talk to the sponsor about the, listen to her point of view, but get someone else that seems to have a similar direction so that you get support in that. Yeah. Doesn't have to be one or the other. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Because one way says look at it a lot, and the other way says don't look at it, be free from it. So which one is right?
Just and remember, the ultimate authority is neither them or you. Yes. Yes. You'll find it. It's not, they can come through anyone, but it is not it's not the anyone doesn't have it. Yes. So, yeah. And the idea of definitions to me are very loosely held, because you can have a definition of a river, but it'd be much, you're going to lose the rivering of it. Yeah. So language isn't important other than as a vehicle to get something through. And it's not understanding the word, it's understanding something. Yes. I hope.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I've understood the word of this 25, 27 years ago. I understood the words to a certain point of non-duality. I understood it. I had it. It was that kind of stuff's easy for me. I do not understand going to work for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Have trouble understanding things like that. I understood a lot about the human dilemma because I had been under it for years. Yeah. Yeah. But the understanding is not there to replace the vision. See, so view would be an understanding, and then there's the vision. Yeah. Now the view can help open up the fact that you are the vision. Yeah. And then the vision will now illuminate the view. And when you're sharing an understanding, you would love to have the vision being shared at the same time with the understanding. Yeah. Not understanding about a vision, but the vision in the understanding about the actually, and what we really concentrate on is of what we're not. I don't care. Who would want to deprive a person of the joy of finding out about them, what they are, by describing what it looks like? That would just be an impediment. Yeah. But we can describe what we're not. We can describe it very clearly because we're not it. And we can do a fearless and thorough take on it because we're not it. Yeah. If you think you're something, you're not going to be able to do a fearless and thorough take on it because there'll be blind spots. There'll be things hidden that you're not going to reveal. That's why you have to work with people. Yeah. But in this case, we're basically describing the activity of what we're not with the hopes what you are is seeing it. That's the point. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anyone else? Thank you. Thank you.
We got Chris, Paul from Lexington, Kentucky. Come on in, Chris.
All right, Chris. Haven't heard from you in a while.
There you go.
Thanks. I know we're running along here and you may need to go, but can we talk about the nothing for a minute? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go, bro.
It strikes me. This is fascinating today. And the people who have spoken also, look at it, don't look at it. It took a lot of looking for me to begin to understand any of this stuff because I was so wrapped up in selfing. So you talk about this all the time, and it's absolutely true in my experience. But something struck me when you paused earlier, talking about focus on the in, focus on the out. And what struck me was that the in is the nothing and the out is the everything else. But we don't talk about the nothing much, and I haven't heard you speak on it. So maybe we do that another time, or you want to address that?
Well, again, I think nothing is all about finding out. Yeah. So you find out about nothing by finding out about the out, let's say, as you were saying. Yes? Yeah. So, no, I don't know. Let's just leave nothing alone, eh?
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? I love to see you, Chris. Thank you.
There's another question in the chat.
My respect for Kentucky just rose from that little conversation. All right, who else?
There's a question in the chat.
Who's this chat?
There's a bunch. There's a couple of them. It's a pretty good question. You want to field it?
Yeah, sure.
It says,
Up to you. You guys can just click out. Whatever. I'm here.
it says, so when the mind and body and soul are aligned, we reach that awakening. When the mind and body and soul is aligned, we reach that awakening?
No. My opinion, no. You're already awake. Your nature is awakening. Yeah. It's incessantly awakening to the point where you can't see that it woke up because it's never not been awake. Yeah. So I don't believe there's an awakening. I believe there's an awakening to what we're not, basically.
Amen.
But there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's just, but if it's working for you, use it. This is the whole point. When it comes to relief, in this sense, the means justify the end, or the end justifies the means. Yeah. If you can trick yourself in feeling better, fucking great. You know what I mean? If you want to dance with the divine and you did, and you're doing less harm to yourself and others, fucking keep dancing with the divine. I don't care. Yeah. But the point is, non-duality doesn't have any room because there's no time or space in the condition that's implied. Being ourselves reality. Yeah. Being. When is there not being? Where is the break between, are you being and then there's a fucking 10 minutes of not being and then you come to and I gotta speed up on my being? No, being is an unbroken condition. Yeah. Being ourselves reality, unbroken condition. No break, no make. You can't make the condition. You can't break the condition. You can ignore the condition. You can ignore the condition in a weird way by looking for it. Yes. By getting obsessed with it is a way of fucking ignoring it. Your obsession to arrive at where you already are, but the emphasis on arriving is the obstruction. Yes. You see, all right. Self hears this message. It wants to become a non-self, but it wants to be there to be a non-self. So it's just the self would gladly, if you could guarantee it could experience its own absence, it would allow that to happen. But you can't. There's no experiencing your own absence. Yeah. There's a living. Yeah. So being, yes. Being doesn't give you much room. Yeah, it really doesn't. It's no exemptions or clauses. because you got to admit there's being. Did you choose to be today? I don't think so. Yeah. Did you choose to go take a shit, or did the body tell you you better take a shit? Something. This idea is just insane. All right, Tommy. Yeah, we got a question. We have a question from.
It's not a question, just a response. I asked a question once. It said, I just put it out to the universe. I said, what's the difference between meditation and being? Because it kept coming up for me. And the answer came back and it said, you can't practice being.
Yeah, so then you practice meditation. Well, the thing is, see, in the hopes of meditation, I feel it's like the old story about the monkey representing the mental activity, and it can't sit still, yes? So that you put the monkey on a pole, and this was like following the breath, so that there could be a noticing of the being. You know, so you could see through the chatter and the chaoticness of the surface monkey activity, so that the being would become obvious. Yeah. So the meditation is for the head, not for the being. And for some people, it's helpful because they've never had their camera tripod has always been shaken because the mental state was agitated. So if you sit and you have just follow your breath, one of the basic first meditations in Zen would be breath. Yes. Just follow your breath up and down. So it's the monkey who's riding. It's not you. It's the imagine you that acts, has a nature of, fucking can't stop acting like a monkey. Yeah. Grabbing everything, looking everywhere. You put it on the pole by following the breath. Breath and head is very interesting. This is an opinion, but one of the only activities of the body that seems to be half voluntary is breath. So you can breathe slower. Yeah. A lot of people can't make their hearts go slower or pump their blood faster, but almost anyone can sit and just breathe deeper and slower, right? And so the head will be attracted there, and then you got it on the pole, and then you just let it run, just follow that. Well, then the being has let's say if you come in from the outside going towards the being, you're going to hit a giant fucking heavy duty cloud formation called the head. So how you clear up to have a good view is meditation, so to speak. Or if you have blood pressure problems, meditation. These things are helpful. Yes? Yeah, that's how I see meditation. I see it as an act for the action figure. Yeah. Yeah. But again, most people take themselves to be the action figure, and then they get stuck in a whole new dilemma that they're now a meditator. Yes, and then the self grows on that, in that petri dish of spiritual, and they become a spiritual person. Yeah, which I find slicker, much stickier than an addict, because an addict, sooner or later, something's going to intervene. Like the police, fucking, the job, the boss, the family. Spiritual addiction can go on and on and on. There's no one saying no when you send your next retreat application, even though maybe it's the 40th one you've done. You send in the money, you'll probably get the thing. Yes? So yeah, I see different meditation is cool. I just don't believe what you're not can meditate on what you are. I just don't see it, but it can meditate on breath and shit. Yeah. 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 I like Vipassana. If you're interested in meditation, I'm giving a little historical advice. Vipassana, because it's just you can just put points on the body. Yeah. So it's like a little monkey. Instead of a pole, you have 9 points. So the monkey does a lap, does another lap. So like big toe, right knee, shoulder, and you just keep doing it. And you think, oh, it's not going anywhere, but actually the speed of the record is slowing up. Yeah. And sometimes you'll hear a beautiful note coming from being when the speed of the record is slowed up instead of hearing that chaotic notes. Yes, you may. But you can just sit and have it yourself anyway. Because hopefully realizing you're not certain things, you're going to have the ability to enjoy peace of mind. Yeah, because there's not so much interest trying not to be interested. Yeah, the ever-present wrestling match that's really taking a lot of juice up has been called off. The big fight of the century has been called off. Yeah, so the idea that your head is obscuring much isn't true. You can just drop in easy. Yeah, yeah, I feel so. I feel like what you would take me hours to go to through breathing or whatever is readily available in a second. It's like the new basis. So that which I attempted to meditate myself to is a ready available basis. Not bad. Yeah. Yeah. Saved me a lot of money. And my ass is forever thankful. My ass is forever thankful. It's not dragging me to cushion stores for those 13-hour fucking sits. Yeah. This is just an opinion. I don't know. You can see what, however you look, but calming the head can be very helpful for the action figure. I do not believe it's a methodology to arrive at where you already are. I just don't. I don't think you're going to meditate yourself into a spiritual condition. I think you are a spiritual condition. Yeah, so, yeah. Anyone else? No, we have not really here. Okay, but not really here still has a question. That's pretty good.
Hi.
I thought not really here would be rid of all questions. That would be good.
I
All right.
actually don't, in truth, I don't have a question, but I wanted to tell you, I'm so thrilled to see you. The last time I saw you was like, I don't know, 2013 or something, when we used to meet in Nevada, and then we went out for coffee after. Yeah, and it was just one of those things today. I just happened to be on my computer. I moved from California to Scotland. Here I am in Scotland. And I was like, Zen Bitch Slap. Oh yeah, I wonder what he's up to. And I just clicked on your links and here we are. And I'm just so thrilled to hear you. And it's like it hasn't been 10, 12 years or whatever it is. It's just the energy. It's just so delightful. I'm just very thankful.
Oh, great. Thank you, honey. Thank you.
Yeah.
And has it worked out, Scotland?
Yeah, I'm thrilled. I just really love being here. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
great.
radically different than California.
Yeah.
But I've been here 2.5 years. I've moved here and I'm just really happy. Really happy.
You could be a tour guide for English people,
I
and you
could
can
be.
translate the Scottish.
I know. Yeah, it's hard to understand. Totally hard to understand some Scottish folks. Oh my God.
You always
Yeah.
watch with subtitles.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I could
Scottish
be a tour guide.
No,
Yeah.
fucking figure out what to say.
Yeah,
We-
it was, I don't know what you would call it. It was the heart, or it wasn't me. It wasn't the me that
Yeah.
didn't move me here. It was the
Yeah.
other thing. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yes, definitely.
The
Yeah.
other thing, and I finally, after all these years, learned to listen to the other, that impulse. My life works when I listen to the impulse.
There you go. Yeah.
It said, stay here. And I'm like, all right. It said, stay
Great.
here. Get a visa. And I've gone through all these, legislative and administrative stuff, and it takes a lot of energy to do all that and adjust and make friends and create a whole life. And yet the impulse said, you're gonna stay here. Here's where you need to be. I'm like, all right, okay, whatever you say, So that.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you come back. When was last time? 12 years?
No, well, I haven't come to one of your things for 12. I'm actually coming for a very short visit at the end of February, beginning of March. So maybe
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
pop in.
Get
Are
in
you-
touch with me. Well, you're
Okay.
like on the 12-year orbit. That's not bad. Every 12.
Yeah, there was that church we used to meet at. It was it Novato?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Not Novato, it was in Marin City.
That's it. That's it. Marin City.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
We had a sadly leave there a couple of months ago.
Oh,
They got they merged with another congregation and they're busy.
okay.
So our
Oh.
meeting in the middle of Saturday was no bueno. So, yeah,
That's too bad.
it's okay.
So-
But I'm so happy you dropped in. Thank you.
I jumped in. Yeah, maybe I'll see where you are. Where are you during the week or the
This
weekend?
is in my house. This is in our house in Novato,
Okay.
about 20 minutes north of Marin City.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
call me up or send me, you can send it through Zen BitSlap. Let me know where you
Okay.
are and we'll,
Yeah, that's good. I'll be there for about 10 days,
Oh,
Feb
good.
28 to March 10th. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
I'll come. Okay, I'll connect.
all right,
Awesome.
see you. Thank you.
All right, see ya.
All right, we're gonna start saying goodbye and Axel, nice to see you, my friend. Thank you for all the support and everything. Jim, same. Nice to see you, Jim. All's well? Yeah? Good.
Right, Paul, everything good.
Oh, good. Vlad, I'll be seeing you shortly, Vlad. Angelica, Grant. Rico, Mary Champagne, Jamie and Barbara, Johannes, Graham, my friend in Spain. Iwan Briok, did I get it close? Yeah, good. Nice to meet you. Where are you, Iwan?
I'm in Wales. I've been
Oh, in
listening.
Wales. Oh, wow.
I've been listening to the podcast for about 2 years, so but I thought I'd just pop in and be live.
Oh, great. It's sort of like the United Kingdom is a late bloomer.
We're here. Hey,
Years,
Wales.
12 years, 2 years.
Scotland's over here. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Nice to meet you, bro. I hope I
Awesome.
see you again. Yes.
Sure.
Chris in Lexington, yes. Florida, John, Zoe in Japan, nice to see you. Roman Mueller. I got Mr. Stephen Mack. I can't see this one person, sorry. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Anja. Nice to see you, hon. Yep. Let me see. Let me go to this page 2. Yeah, we're gonna have coffee if you like. Thor, it's great to see you, man. Yeah. Rick Rowe, Toronto. Chris in Olympia, Texas, somewhere in America. Yes. Chris H, he's off for the rest of the year. Pretty good. Annette, Eric in Vista, Saraswati, always a pleasure, Saraswati. Elisa in Pennsylvania, Mika, Finland, nice to see you. Hey, everyone, if I missed you, thank you for allowing us to have this. Oh, there's Monique. Yes, there she is. She's going through the light version of the message. Yes. All right. We'll see you, everyone. Thank you so much. Yes. Keep the money pouring in. Come on. Keep going. See you guys.
Thank you,
I'll see you
Paul.
soon.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
John.
you,
Nice to be in
Paul.
the.
Thanks.